So what's up, folks, and welcome to this week's English commentary of a match that was played in 1993. Red was Cai Zhongcheng, quite a famous player from Fujian province, Xiamen, Fujian province. Black was Grandmaster Liu Dahua, and the commentary from this book for this match was provided by Grandmaster Xiangqi and Master Yan Wenqing in their trilogy of books. One of them, Dubious Positions and How to Attack Them. Again, I thank both Grandmaster and Master for their permission to use their commentaries to make this video. So without further ado, let us begin this commentary. Cai Zhongcheng started with the central cannon, and Black played along the usual lines. Now, instead of developing the chariot as a foul chariot, Red chose to play p7+1, which would lead the situation into a variation that he was probably more familiar or comfortable with. Now, it is usual for Black to counter with p7+1 in this situation. Finally, Red decides to develop his chariot as a foul chariot. And in this game, Grandmaster Liu Dahua chose to play c8+4 for the left cannon blockade. Now, usually, Black will continue with c2=5 for the deferred opposite direction cannons. Another commonly played variation would be to play the screen-horse defense. Now, at this point, Red played a questionable move of c8+2. Now, this is usually not seen in actual play. Now, the motives behind this move were that Red wanted to trade pawns so that he could free his horse from any potential pin by Black's blockade over here. And after trading pawns, the efficiency of this cannon would be greatly decreased. Unfortunately, the motives behind this move was simply too apparent, and Black could have much time to formulate a counter attack or a counter to target Red's moves. So what did the Grandmaster do? He played brilliantly with p3+1, sacrificing the pawn decisively and resolutely. Now, this was a very brilliant move. It was also a very far-sighted move, because once the pawn was pushed, Red would not be able to play p3+1 anymore. And if he did, Black would play p3+1, threaten the cannon, and Red would be in all sorts of trouble. And after sacrificing the pawn in this manner, Red can only capture it. Black will start developing his material and place Red in further dilemma. And let's say in this situation, it would be better for Red to play p7+1. This would be a natural move to make. It would not be a good idea to play h8+7. Because Black would now take the opportunity to play h2+4. The main idea would be to play r1=3. And to prevent that, Black would play c8=7. Now, it would not be a good idea to play h7+6 because the elephant chariot would now still be developed and this pawn would be lost. If it advanced, Black would simply initiate a trade of material and Black would be favorable. So if c8=7 were played, Black would simply capture the pawn and then retreat the elephant again, because this cannon was protected by the black horse. And once Black consolidated his defense with e3-5, Black would be prepared to play r1=3 to command this very important line, where Red will be very vulnerable. There's still a lot of material over here. So black can be very satisfied with this situation. So that is why h8 plus 7 would not be a good idea. It will be an even worse idea if red played c8 equals to 9, hoping to cause some mischief with the cannon, as would sometimes be a commonly seen tactical combination in such situations. So for example, if c8 equals 9 were played, black would offer a trade-off material. He would take the opportunity to advance his pawn, hoping to do some mischief. Black would force a trade of cannons, and after trading cannons, the horse would still target the offending red pawn, and red would be placed in a dilemma yet again, because he had used up 1, 2, 3 moves to push the pawn to this position. Now if it were captured by black, red would lose 3 moves. Would lose 3 moves in terms of tempo, and this would be unbearable against a player with the skills of Grandmaster Liu Dahua. So if, let's say, he played p7 equals to 6 to try to keep the pawn alive, black would again develop his chariot as a elephant chariot, and we can see that at this point in time, with the black chariot over here, red cannot develop his horse h8 plus 7. Perhaps the best way would be to develop the horse as an edge horse, but in this case, if the horse were developed as an edge horse, red's defense will become very vulnerable, and the black horse would be ready to charge across the river at any time. Black will be much faster in developing material, and he can be very optimistic with his chances going to the mid-game. So that is why h8 plus 9 or h8 plus 7 would both neither be desirable. So in the match, red played p7 plus 1. Now, faced with the threat of the offending red pawn, black did not lose his cool. Instead, he chose to play a4 plus 5 to consolidate his defense for a very subtle but yet very powerful counter. Now he was countering red's aggression with some stillness and subtlety, and it was a mark of an experienced player in this situation. h2 plus 4, although seemingly natural, would not be a good idea at this point in time because the pawn had charged forward. Red would simply play p7 plus 1 because now, after charging the pawn forward, the cannon would become threatened. Black would move c2 equals to 1, and red would now play c8 equals to 7 to deny black the opportunity to develop his chariot as an elephant chariot. Also, the pawn is still alive and edging its way closer to the black king, and black would have many things to worry about. So that is why h2 plus 4 would not be a good idea. Instead, a4 plus 5 would be a very nice, subtle but powerful counter to adopt a wait-and-see approach. So at this point in time, red chose to develop his horse, and black finally developed his horse as an elephant eye horse. Red was keen on protecting his pawn, and at this point in time, black chose to capture the central pawn, offering a trade of material. And after trading material, we can see that any threats of a attack by the red chariot over here would be snuffed out, and instead black would have commanded a central cannon and gain a pawn in compensation for the pawn he had lost earlier. Now at this point in time, black would simply offer or sacrifice his horse to capture the offending pawn to cover up the final weakness on his side of the board. Now this was a very bold and daring move, but a very apt one at that. Now after capturing the red pawn, black would not be placed in any immediate threat, and he could start to mount his counterattack very quickly. This was also a far-sighted move because, as can be seen, this would be ply number 11. Black would be able to gain back lost material not too long after. So at this point in time, red cannot do anything but accept black's sacrifice, and black could immediately pounce on the chance to develop his chariot as a uh, as a elephant chariot. Now retreating the horse h 7 - 6 would not be possible, because black would have a fork with r3 plus 5. So that was why in the match, red would first shoo away, try to dislodge the central cannon before playing h7 plus 8. And after sacrificing material, it was a full all-out counterattack by black. Now at this point in time, we can see that although black had lost one piece or sacrificed one piece, he was on the attack, and red's formation was in a disarray. Not much defense could be seen from red with the pieces in their current position. It is obvious that things were to black's favor. So red immediately took the opportunity to develop his chariot, and black captured the elephant. K5 plus 4 was a prophylactic move. Red tries to threaten with a checkmate, and black is calm and steady, choosing to trade material, snuffing out any potential counter attacks by the cannon on this flank. And before capturing the cannon, he played c2 plus 7 to deliver a check. Now this would further force the red king to the third rank, where it will become more and more vulnerable. And after forcing the red king to the third rank, did black capture the cannon. Now again, we can see that although black was still one piece down, he had gained an elephant in return, and also was now very threatening with his horse and chariot preparing to storm this file. Red tried to trade material to ease some pressure, but black would have none of it. Instead, he delivered a check, forcing the king to the cannon rank. And black again sacrificed, or offered his cannon as sacrifice in another bold attempt. And this was a very, very powerful move. Of course, black would not dare to capture the cannon. If if red captured the cannon, let's say with this move, black would deliver a check with this move, forcing the king up, forcing the cannon to block the horse, and then black would gain back immediately gain back lost material, and red would still be in contention, but we can see that black could have slowly torn apart red's defense, and things will become less and less favorable for black. So that is why capturing the cannon was not a good idea. Instead, black did not move his cannon either. Instead, red retreated his horse, trying to position it perhaps to go for the elbow horse attack. But as the red king was in a precarious position, black retreated his chariot, threatening to checkmate with r8 equals to 6, forcing the king back. Now this is another attempt, but this time black tried to position his cannon on the cross riverbank rank, trying to sound or see how red would reply to this situation. Again, now after black would finally decide to attack in this manner. Now with this check, again the cannon is forced to be advanced, and Black tried to threaten the horse in this manner, forcing the horse to the riverbank. Again, threatening to trade material with this move. Now, of course, Red would not be willing to trade material, because once he traded material, this cannon was charged across the river, and the Red King was still be in all sorts of trouble. So Red decided to play h8 plus 7 to deliver a check, followed by capturing the central pawn. And Red would now deliver a check, consolidate his defense, and still offering his cannon as sacrifice. Now, Red was not someone to be trifled with, and tried to go on the offense with h7 plus 9, attempting the elbow horse checkmate as the king was already commanding this file. Black did not flinch, and he delivered a check, forcing the king to a very precarious position before resolving this checkmate situation by sacrificing his cannon yet again. Now, Black's moves thus far were very cohesive and very powerful. Now, this sacrifice or this offer of the cannon will lay the foundations for Black winning the game. At this point in time, since the elbow horse checkmate was not possible, Red retreated the other horse out of desperation. Now, k4 equals to 5 would not be a good idea, because if he did, Black could simply play r7 minus 2, and the cannon would be captured. And once the cannon was captured, Black would have a checkmate situation on hand, and there would be many other things that Black could do, and basically victory was guaranteed. Now, r8 minus 2 to capture would not be a good idea, because Black would simply play h5 plus 7 to go for the tiger silhouette checkmate. So h8 minus 2 or k4 equals to 5 were all not possible. So in the game, Red was forced to retreat his horse to block or prevent any possible attacks by the Black horse. But in doing so, Black would now attack the cannon in this manner. The Red cannon could not budge, or this would be a check. And Red retreated his king. Again, Black was very patient and continually harassed the Black king. Now, if the king retreated, Red would lose an elephant in the process. And afterwards, Black would finally go for the tiger silhouette, threatening to checkmate with r7 equals to 6, forcing Red to retreat the horse and give the Black king Red King, to a chance to move the central file. But Black continued with his brilliant play, advancing the horse to the golden hooked horse position. Now, when the horse and chariot are at this position, Black could checkmate with r7 equals to 5. So that was why Red was forced to play k4 equals to 5. But in doing so, although it would appear that the Red horse was still also attacking the Black chariot, Black could simply deliver a check and continue to check, as the horse would now protect the chariot. And at this point in time, Red would recover lost material. So it can be seen, we were at ply 11 just now, but Black was far-sighted enough to understand that he could gain back lost material, even though it took over nearly 30 plies later. And once Black was able to gain back lost material, the situation would become much more favorable to Black, because half of Red's defense was now gone. Black could have the extra pawn that was prepared to charge across the river, and basically these two red pieces were closed. While comparatively speaking, Black's two chariot and horse were in the open. So Red decided to trade material, a check, h3 plus 5, and black took the chance to pilfer away another pawn. Red defends, and black was very patient again. He did not want to give red any chance of an elbow horse attack or any chance of coming of a reprieve. So he played r5 equals to 3. Now black would push the chariot across the river in this manner. So in anticipation of black retreating the chariot to try to capture the horse. So that once black did so, red would be able to move his horse to safety. However, it was basically too late. Black could now have covered up any final weaknesses or any potential trouble that red could use to turn the tables. And it was now basically his time to attack. With r3 equals to 4, black was targeting the advisor and also preventing the red king from moving to this file. Black would try to trade material. Unfortunately, the black horse was so well positioned that h9 plus 7 would be a check. And at this point in time, black would retreat his horse to safety. And red felt that he had enough and decided to call it a day. Now, I ran this position through my computer program and found that black would now enjoy an advantage of about 700 points, which would be almost the equivalent of having an extra chariot on the board. It is quite obvious. Black would have a full guard, 2 pawns that were ready to cross the river, and red's defense was abysmal, or simply could not keep up with black's attack. So a possible line that was generated by my computer would show that, let's say red tried to attack in this manner, black would target the elephant and make this very nice move. If red captured, it would be a trade of material, and again black would have captured another defensive piece in the process. Black would later push both pawns across the river for the easy win. So that is why red would usually not dare to capture the horse and play k5 plus 1 instead. And red would go for the elbow horse position. Black would try to capture or dislodge the black horse, for which black would have no fear and simply play r4 equals to 3, because if it captured the black horse, black would check and capture the red chariot to take revenge for his horse. Red tries to defend very aggressively, and black would move his horse to safety. And after trading material, it is obvious that black would have the significant advantage. Okay, so at this point in time, this is one of the variations that was given a computer, but basically this would be a book win situation for black. So that is why once this position was moved, the Cai Zhongcheng felt that he had already suffered enough and decided to resign. So a quick recap of the board. Let us see it from black's point of view. Central cannon, left cannon blockade. And this was red's problematic move. Instead, h7 is the usual move that is played. b3 plus 1 to completely destroy red's plans. And after sacrificing the horse, red would now have gained much in tempo. So the elephant chariot, and red would now push the other horse across to the riverbank to prepare to attack. Red tries to develop material. Black moves his king to safety. And black offers a trade of material, allowing the cannon to advance and force the red king to the third rank, where it was now especially vulnerable to attack by the horse and cannon. Horse and chariot. r3 equals to 8. Red tried to relieve some pressure by offering a trade of material. Of course, Black would not accept, and Black would instead offer his cannon as sacrifice again, hoping to go for the tiger silhouette. Now, Red tried to retreat the horse to take a chance. If he chose to capture the cannon, what Black would have a superior position. Red would still be in contention, but things would be looking more and more bleak. After h8+7, Black threatens to checkmate. Again, another threat to checkmate with r8=6. And finally, after some harassing, to buy some time perhaps in the competition, Black would now retreat his horse to attack. Again, sandwiching the red horse, threatening to attack it. Another check. Black is not careless. He would consolidate his defense, and he was very confident of his chariot-horse combination. Red tries to sneak in a checkmate with h9+7. Check. Of course, Black could continue offering his cannon as sacrifice. This one move will lay the firm foundation for victory. Now, at this point in time, Red will be placed in a dilemma. h5-6 would perhaps be the staunchest counter. k4=5 or r8-2 would not be. And once this position was reached, Black would go for the tiger silhouette, forcing a trade of material, and then play the horse to the golden hooked horse position, threatening the checkmate with r7=5, forcing the king back. But at this point in time, Black would deliver a check, capture material, and even the odds. So Black recovers lost material and gains a tremendous advantage because of the lack of defense of the red pieces. The trading material, Black pilfers away another pawn, threatening to capture the third pawn. But in this case, Black would have to be careful, as he wanted to prevent Red from playing r9+7. But either way, Black could move his horse, threatening to capture the elephant, etc., and also have many other options to go with. So this would basically be Black having a huge advantage. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video. If you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up for the video. And I would appreciate any comments that can be found in the comment section below. Thank you. Have a good week ahead.